So I want to thank everybody for coming to the O&A, September 15, 2025. We have Councilor Grace, Councilor Nolan, myself. We have Catherine Schlitti. We have Councilor Tony Gross, our president of the city council. We have Rob Vicari, our building commissioner. We have John Gillis, our IT director. We have Suzanne Egan, who is our legal counsel. I was gonna say boss. So with that being said, we're gonna move on to the first subject. And we have for Memorial Staff Appointment, IT Director John Gillis. He's gonna be fulfilling an unexpired term to end 2/14/2027. John, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? And we have Council Majota.
Yes.
Come right out.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the time tonight. My name is John Gillis.
Morning.
I'm a resident of Gloucester. I've been with the IT organization now for approximately 6 months. A little bit about my background, have over 30 years of IT experience, predominantly in a major telecommunications company. Right out of college, I joined a management trainee program, which was IT centric. Came out as an application developer, started there, transitioned to their IT managerial track. Been in an IT manager capacity for over 20 years. And then I left in March, this past March, as a director in their corporate systems organization. The reason I left was kind of twofold. For the second time in my career, they were enticing management employees to leave the business with a voluntary separation offer. The first time I saw that, I wasn't ready. This time, I thought it would be a good opportunity to change, to change on my own terms, look to do something else, look to take my IT experience, into, a different scenario. I'm very grateful and appreciative to Mayor Berger, Jill Cahill, for accepting my application to the city IT department. Like I said, I've been here for about six months now. The IT team is terrific. The people on the team are great. They've been very supportive. They care about, the city employees. They like to help each other out, et cetera. Same goes through across all city departments. Everyone's been really, really nice to work with. And, really, it's been really a refreshing transition from the private sector to the public sector. And the commute isn't bad as well, so that also helps. So, really grateful for the opportunity, and I really, hopefully we'll be able to continue this opportunity moving forward.
Excellent. Catherine, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, just that we're grateful that John's on the team. He's been doing a great job, and he, as he says, has a good team under him, and everybody wants a piece of IT, much like legal. Everybody needs their assistance, so, and he's been doing a great job of fulfilling the needs of the city, so we hope you will support his continued tenure.
Excellent. Do we have any council questions? We'll start with Councilor Grace.
I know, I read your resume, it's great, and the private sector loss is definitely our gain, so I appreciate you very much being here and lending all of your knowledge and expertise to helping us, and I'm sorry in advance for all of the calls.
Thank you.
Council Majota.
This is an easy one. Your resume speaks for itself. You have the experience. You're already doing a great job as is. I look forward to having you as the IT director for the next 2 years.
Excellent. I will say that you are well respected. I've spoken to a bunch of city employees, not just management, but other people that work with you daily with the DPW, the police and fire. They're very happy. And as far as your team goes, I will say that we had the inspections for the Fish Box Derby yesterday, and we had a problem with the scales. And I asked Brian Hamilton if he'd give us a solid and come out and help us with the computer. And he rewired it and took care of it. And you do have good people working under you. And I'm happy to support this.
Thank you.
So with that being said, Councilor Majota.
Committee recommendation move to recommend the city council appoint John Gillis as IT director, term ending 2/14/27, and in accordance with GZO section 2 through 260 to appoint him to one additional term ending 2/14/29. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. John, you have to come before the full council, next Tuesday. And I'm sure it's gonna be the same as tonight. You've got a good job record on where you are. Your resume is awesome. And, to be honest, going from private, where you probably made a little bit more money, to coming over to the public side, the feeling of helping people will make you feel very rewarded in the end, and you have a great leadership team behind you.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The two, I meant 4 years, not just.
Yeah. No, you're good to go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So next up, we have for boards, committees, and commissions on appointments. We have City-owned Cemetery Advisory Committee, Christine Burton, term to end to 2028. This was continued from August 18, 2025. Since then, the applicant has withdrawn their application. So then we'll go on to the Clean Energy Commission with Emma M. Strubel.
Yes.
Excellent. Glad you got it
You
right.
can stay, it's up to you. You can stay there and tell us about yourself, or you can come on here.
I'll come.
There you
over.
go.
All right.
Nice.
Apologies, I was a little bit
Oh, you were.
late. Yeah, so do you want me to?
If you prefer to be called M, I would tell you to go ahead and open up and tell us all about yourself and why you want to be on this committee.
All right, yeah. Yeah, so recently moved to Gloucester, but my partner was born and raised here. Very happy to be back. And for the past 5 years, I guess, I've been working as a professor at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, which is how we ended up out in
I'm a
Pittsburgh in the
Steeler
first
fan,
place.
so.
Okay, great, awesome. I will not say more about that. I'm from Maine, so yeah. So I'm a computer science professor. I work on AI, and actually I work on a lot on AI policy, and specifically AI and energy policy. So and so, I mean, I can repeat some of the things that were in my cover letter, but they're things that are true. Which is one of the things that I've learned, increasingly working in the policy space, is that like local level policies are actually incredibly important, I think, for, I don't know, actually achieving things as a society. So when I saw this, opportunities opening on the CEC, I thought it was potentially a fantastic fit. Also because I'm excited to live here for the rest of my life. Being sort of like in school and academia, you often don't get a lot of a choice about where you live. And, we've been moving around a lot ever since I've been an adult. But I've always wanted to sort of be more a part of the community, and, help out. So it seems like a great fit. I think I can learn a lot, and hopefully I can contribute a little bit as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Council Grace, do you have any questions or comments?
I mean, your resume took me about an hour to read.
Sorry, yeah,
Okay,
no, that's the
it's a good
academic,
thing, it's a good thing.
next time, I've
It
heard,
was very
yeah.
impressive. So, yeah,
I'll
I
shorten it
hope
next
that you don't get bored with this task, with all that you do. And are you still teaching, teaching online, or you moved on to?
Yeah, so, yes, I'm still employed by Carnegie Mellon. I've worked out something with my chair where I'm not teaching, I'm sort of doing other stuff where I can work fully remotely for the time being, while I figure out what I'm gonna do here, basically.
Yeah, you've picked a great community to decide to spend the rest of your life in.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place to live. Yeah, so I'm just grateful for, it's always great when people want to come in and give their passion to the city, and it is appreciated, so thank you.
Excellent. Council Majota.
When you go first, it's a lot easier. You can just say a lot of things.
Well, you're gonna be next.
Your resume, your cover letter and your resume were very impressive, and, I think, it's always great. You say you just moved here and not being from Gloucester, but like wanting to help the community and live here is just amazing. So thank you for that.
I mean, it's one of the things that's like immediately obvious to me is like the sense of community that there is here, and I think that's so valuable. And anyway, happy to contribute. Yeah.
Excellent. Catherine, do you have anything to add to this?
I don't, I'm just happy to have you on board, and your knowledge, I think, would be valuable to the board.
Vast knowledge
Yeah.
of all things. don't ever worry about your large cover letter or. We do read them. We care about who we appoint and we're very particular about what we feel. And a vote was a real vote. The city of Gloucester is a tight knit community. It's a populated city. And it's still a neighborhood where people communicate and they work things out. Differences are usually held at an idle movement. And people move on, but don't judge. And I don't plan on leaving here either my entire life. And whereabouts in Maine did you grow up?
Yeah, Southern Maine, Cape Elizabeth, right outside Portland, and
Yeah.
I went to the University of Maine.
Yeah, so Maine's beautiful, but I gotta tell you, Gloucester's wonderful. And beautiful. And I'm glad to have you, and you're definitely well overqualified for this. But your AI experience is definitely gonna be something that comes up in the future, and I hope you're around for a long time to work with the Clean Energy Commission. We try to take advantage of everything we can in the city for that. And I support you 100%. Have you been sworn in?
No,
And have you taken your ethics test?
no,
Okay.
but, well, yeah. I thought I had to wait until this meeting, but
No, but if you could, reach out to the clerk and get that done. It's a new appointment, so we are gonna look forward to seeing you on next Tuesday for the full council. And with that being said, Council Majota, do we have a motion?
Committee recommendation, move to recommend that the city appoint Emma M. Sturville to the Clean Energy Commission, term ending 2/15/27, and I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, he said Emma M, but we have to
Emma.
read it as it is. But we'll refer to you as M
thank you.
once
Yeah,
you're on the
appreciate it.
commission. So
Thank you.
thank you very much, and we'll see you again next Tuesday. You're welcome to stay for the evening and watch the rest of what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so next up, we have zoning board of appeals. We have Axel Ruiz, term to end 2/15/2028. Axel, do you want to come up?
Yeah,
Happy
happy
to
to.
come up today.
But
And
it feels only appropriate given.
I feel as though we've done this before.
Yeah, it's, yeah, it feels as though we've done this once before,
As you guys remember, we had him in front of us last
I do remember.
last,
May.
A few, yeah.
April,
April,
March,
yeah.
sometime in the spring.
Very well qualified. He's an architect and we had to go back into our rules and procedures and change it that he could be on the board. So with that being said, if you just want to tell us a little bit yourself again before we start.
Yeah, happy to. So my background, as you so kindly put, is in architecture. That's my profession now, my education before. I've been working in the North Shore for 3 years now at a residential architecture firm in Danvers. And to that end, we've prepared a lot of zoning applications and the different boards within the towns. A great deal of that was for the accessory apartments. The recent ADU laws lessen that a bit, but I've found the zoning process to be quite fascinating. Even when petitions have not ruled in my favor, I've enjoyed the process and found it to be very rewarding, and wanted to do my part within my own community to be part of that board to assist where the intent of the bylaw is thought to be found if they can't follow it directly to the letter. And I've been sitting in on some of the meetings here this past year, and I've really enjoyed seeing how this board has run, how this board has been willing to meet members of the community. So often there have been members of the community not represented by a lawyer, by their architects, they themselves speaking of the petition, not even necessarily having the specific instances within the GZO at which they are seeking relief. And Chairman Parisi and other members of the board have been very kind to help them draft this decision and work through them to get them the relief needed. And I find that invaluable and want to be a part of that here in Gloucester.
Excellent. Thank you. Catherine, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I just want to say that Axel brings a skill set that is not currently on the board. There's building trades, there's lawyer there, so architectural perspective is a nice perspective to add to the board. And really, as we said, young people on the board are always valuable, and he certainly showed his commitment. I mean, he was showing up to zoning boards for a long time without even having any real role in it. So we look forward to having him on the board.
Excellent. And now to our building commissioner, Rob, do you have anything to say about this?
I just think it's gonna be a joy to have him on the staff. He's been to, like Catherine said, a bunch of meetings. He's taken notes. He's taking everything. I think he's gonna be a huge asset for the city to have that caliber of knowledge of the architectural side of it and willing to help the public with their, applications and moving things forward for these people. Like it's huge.
Excellent, thank you, Rob, our building commissioner. Then we'll go to Frank. Frank, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, this is a very important, commission. It's just board, it's just, there's a lot that you guys have as necessary power to approve or not approve, and having the architecture experience and keeping Gloucester. Even though we are changing, I always say we have to go forward, but I want to keep the architecture and everything the same. Let's keep it historic if we can, and I think that's a very important aspect to have. And what they said, you've been committed, you've been going to meetings, and you're here again. We saw you in April, and months later, you're again, and you didn't change your mind, and you're committed, and that to me is super important. So, thank you.
Excellent, Council Grace.
Thank you for taking the high road and not getting angry that you had to say farewell the last time you came through here. And we're grateful that you stayed into the long haul, and thank you for, you've already donated hours of your time going to the meetings, and I think that is invaluable. It's a great, learning, way to learn how things work, and just to play upon what Catherine said, that, it's just another aspect of the whole zoning that you learned for this, because one of the issues that we have is making sure that the architecture fits the neighborhoods. So you'll have a lot of insight to that, and I think that's invaluable to that committee. So thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Council Grace. So Axel, one of the things, the zoning board of appeals is a very powerful board. A lot of people don't understand what they actually do, and they'll get mad at them. But it's about taking what our, laws and ordinances, GZOs versus MGLs, and working them together. But it's important for you to understand that people may not know what you're talking about. And you had mentioned something about they're not showing up with an attorney. And it's nice to see the board step up and work with them to help them through the process. Because, I mean, it'd be easy to say everybody should hire an attorney. But sometimes you don't have $4,000 or $5,000 to do something. And I've watched the zoning board of appeals with Mr. Parisi, give advice and help people to guide them through when they come back, what they're looking for. And my question would be to you, as someone that's worked in the industry, and that is going on the zoning board of appeals, I always felt that our zoning board was very helpful to residents. How do you feel as a professional that's been in front of other boards and what you've seen?
I would agree completely. I recall one of the earlier meetings I had sat through. I recall reading the application, and they were requesting a variance with respect to their front yard setback. And I recall reading that and thinking, there's no way they're getting this. It's not. I did not at least see the need for the variance. That a literal enforcement of the bylaw would be detrimental.
Mhm.
That they satisfied that criteria, but hearing the board go through the process, they were a lot more charitable than what I've been accustomed to from some other boards. I put out petitions before the Ipswich zoning board, which I found to be a lot more reserved with the issuance of variances. So I've found this board to be very amenable and willing to demystify the zoning bylaws and the ordinances, in this case in Gloucester, to work with the community. It was really refreshing the first few meetings I sat through to see just how accessible. They made the ordinance to the town.
Well, that makes me feel good. I mean, we have laws, but they're the zoning board of appeals.
Yeah.
And they can make amendments and give things, but they obviously worked hard to try to find a way to help someone that didn't upset other people. So I'm very happy to hear this and I'm gonna support you tonight. With that being said, do we have a motion? Council Grace.
Do, committee recommendation, move to recommend that the city council appoint Axel Ruiz to the zoning board of appeals term.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Have you been sworn in or taken the ethics test?
I did swear, I'll have to re-swear it.
Okay.
But, I do need to take the ethics test.
Excellent. If you could do that, and we'll see you on next Tuesday. And thank you very much. This is well worth it. We had a great meeting with you back in April. And I'm happy that this worked out. And I'm happy that the administration worked hard to put this through and find a way to make it work, because you're the type of people we need to carry on. Joe can only be there for so much longer before you can get people out. You really can. So it's nice to have fresh blood. And I'm glad that you chose our community, and I'm very happy that you're willing to stand up and use your profession to help things make better. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.
Right. The next two are
Online,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, okay.
And that's up to me. Brian.
online. Let's see.
Leave him alone. First we have Richard.
Richard, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can see you. Can you hear or see me?
Yes, well, we can't see you, but we can hear you.
Well, it's just as well you don't see me.
So, Richard
So
is-
I happen to be on vacation up in Maine, but I'm glad to participate in this and to see you all. What would you like to know?
First of all, it's Lucci, right? Your last name?
Lukey.
Lukey. Okay, perfect.
It's a
You
German.
just want, it's a reappointment. If you just want to give us a brief breakdown of why you want to continue to be on the board.
Well, I got onto the board by making a complaint to the board, and to my surprise, they said, well, yeah, you should be on the board and help us fix this. So I've been on this for, I think about 8 years. I moved here from Salem about 10 years ago, where I co-founded the Salem Main Streets program, which is to revitalize the downtown, which turns out to be very successful. And I didn't want to get into that here, although it certainly could benefit from it. But the building itself is such an icon in our city that the opportunity to participate in its restoration or preservation, I would say, is something I really wanted to do. So I've been working on that. We have a nice committee. Maggie Rosa has chaired it. She's got lots of enthusiasm. We've had architects on there. We've had JJ Bell, he knows a lot about these types of things and how to raise money, etc. So it's been a good experience. I'd like to keep at it because we're kind of at the threshold of actually making some substantial progress. About a year or so ago, we had funds lined up to do some serious renovations to the electrical system and installing fire sprinklers, because at one point the fire chief said if there was ever a fire started in this building, we couldn't stop it. So unfortunately, the funding that we had lined up for some of this important work has disappeared because of other financial priorities. But we're keeping at it, and I want to keep at it. You know, I don't know how you feel about it, but you know, unless we do some of these things to this building, we could all come downtown one day and there'd just be a pile of ashes. It could happen that fast. In fact, if you remember about a year and a half ago, there was a small fire started in the archives office that resulted in a lot of smoke damage. But but that's kind of a wake-up call. So that's why I enjoy working on it. In the meantime, till we work on that, I do some spotting around the building of things that need fixing. I've done a lot of painting and sanding and things. So I enjoyed being back on the committee for another round, I suppose.
Excellent, thank you, Richard. Counselor Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
No, this is, I think what you say sometimes like a slam dunk. But yeah, you've been on the commission for at least 8 years. And just by hearing you, you definitely care about the city and everything. So you definitely have my support.
Thank you.
Thank you for being willing to continue to lend your time and your talents to this position. You laid out, quite eloquently how important this is. And I really think that whoever might be out there listening tonight or on recording needs to really take heed to the recommendations about the sprinklers and dealing with things that could potentially make this building into a pile of rubble. When you drive into the city and you see the towers of this building, you know that you're home. So it's a really important piece of architecture and a piece of history for the city. So thank you.
All right, Richard, I feel the same way. You've been committed to it. It's been a committee that's been up and down. And it's important to the city to keep this building going in the way it is. So with that being said, Councilor Grace, we have a motion.
Committee recommendation move to recommend that the city council reappoint Richard Lukey, I almost said Loki.
You got it.
To the City Hall Restoration Commission, term to end on 2/16/2028, and I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so Richard, next Tuesday night will be the full confirmation of the council.
Yes.
A reappointment and you are known to us. If you can't make it, that's not a problem. We'll still carry the vote. But have you been updated with the ethics test and have you been sworn in?
I've been sworn in. I'm completing the conflict of interest test this week.
Excellent. Thank you very much and have a great night.
Thank you very much.
All right, so next up on the licensing board, we have John Lamoureux. Thank you, Building Commissioner. John, can you hear us?
He's muted.
Hear me?
Yep, we can hear you now, John.
All right.
Beautiful. So this is a reappointment to the licensing board. You've been here quite some time. You just want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to continue on the board.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've actually enjoyed being part of the licensing board. I joined in 2018, filled in John Rando's spot. My prior life, I was had a catering business. So I actually co-owned with Ken Duckworth and Matt Beach, Duckworth Beach Gourmet. So I was a manager on a license there when we had the wine and cheese shop on Washington Street, and then we sold it to Savor Wine and Cheese. But I think, being part of the board gives me an opportunity to, work with the local businesses. I remember COVID and all the meetings we had to get them out, outside during that time period in our life. And I think that the board is really focused on helping our businesses move forward. And I feel that we're pretty supportive. We have a policies procedure manual since I've been part of the board with Melissa and Ted. And, we rolled out the BYOB policy license. So I've enjoyed every moment I've been part of the board.
Excellent, thank you. With that being said, Councilor Majota, do you have any things to add to this?
No, John, thank you for your your service to the city, and keep doing what you're doing on the licensing board.
Excellent, Councilor Grace.
Yeah, thank you for continuing your work on this committee. Obviously, you have a great passion for it, and that is appreciated. And you mentioned about the businesses, and these businesses are the lifeblood of this community. So somebody who champions them as much as you do is fabulous. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna ask our building commissioner, Rob Vicari, if you'd like to make a comment.
Just his knowledge of having a license in the past himself and how it all works, his knowledge has been invaluable when it comes to, you know, guiding some of these other newer businesses that come in and stuff like that, so his knowledge has been unbelievable.
Excellent, thank you, Rob. John, what I'd like to say is that you've been there, the whole time I've been here. And you guys have made a lot of strides on the licensing board, helping businesses, making tough decisions on who gets one and who doesn't. 1 day licenses, restrictions, and you guys have governed it well. So you have my total support on that as well. And with that being said,
Thank you.
Councilor Majota, do we have a motion?
How do I say the last name again?
Lamoran.
The recommendation move to recommend the city council reappoint John Lemery to the licensing board, term ending 5/31/2031, and I so move.
Second.
That's so far away.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, excellent. John, thank you very much. Again, this is a
Thank you.
reappointment. If you can't make it next Tuesday, that's not a problem. You're known to us. We can still vote. If you'd like to be there, that's still fine as well.
Great, thank you.
All righty, so, I'm gonna take things out of order right now, just because of the people that we have in the room. So we're gonna remove number 5, CC 2025-040, Nolan Gross Memhard, amend GCO chapter 14, offenses and miscellaneous provisions by adding a new article number 3, virtual currency, kiosks and prohibition. And I'd like to hear from the administration or Suzanne, or whoever would like to speak on this first.
Certainly.
Come right up, pull up a chair.
Makes it easier shouting.
You
across
did a
the
lot of
room.
work on this.
Oh, but I think you also helped out. A number of people helped out the police department. I worked with Lieutenant Gossam also, and also the Essex County District Attorney's Office was very instrumental in this ordinance. So as you all know and have discussed at the city council meeting, that the Bitcoin or virtual kiosk currency ATMs can cause a big problem, right? They cause a huge problem to people who are at risk for scams. And therefore, it's been recommended by the Essex County District Attorney's Office and also the Gloucester Police Department to adopt this ordinance so that we can prohibit the kiosks from the city and make sure that we can enforce those ordinances.
Excellent, thank you. I would like to ask if Tony Gross would like to speak on this. He was one of the co-authors with me and Scott Menard.
Well, I think, one thing that I learned from the DA's office is that we're on the forefront of this, and that sort of makes me feel a little better about Gloucester being on the forefront in this issue. I know of one person in particular who was a victim, and that the virtual currency ATM was very instrumental in her losing tens of thousands of dollars. So this is overdue, and I'm glad that we did the emergency measure, and this is now to make it go from here forward.
Excellent. I think about this and I go back to the early 90s when the Gloucester High School got together to ban cigarette machines in public places. And it would be awesome if we could get some sort of something to resemble one of these kiosks in a convertible driving around the back shore, like the commercial they used in the state of Massachusetts when we had done that as well. I'll speak a little bit on this. People are getting ripped off. We heard it at the last council meeting. When this comes to full council, Paul Tucker will be there to speak on this, and there may be some other people as well. It's different. Times have changed. Now, cryptocurrency is cryptocurrency. I have no problem with it. People want to invest in it, that's fine. But it's impossible to talk someone out of something when they go to a machine that they've gotten an email or a letter saying that someone's in trouble or someone did something, or you can get this. and it's a machine. When you go to a bank or Western Union, they're trained a little bit more now. To basically say, listen, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because once you do this, it's gone. And we want to bring in a relative or a family member to talk to you about it before this happens. And it's sad when you see someone that's taken advantage of. And, you know, it was $20,000 at one person, you know, in Gloucester. And $20,000 is a lot of money. And it's certainly a lot of money for an elderly person that's living on Social Security. And I don't like to take away rights from people or to go across Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency. But what I am strong on is the fact that I don't want to see anybody that's vulnerable be ripped off by something that's a scam. And there's no one there to protect them or to talk about it. And this is why it's important to me. And I believe Marjorie, who I'll ask next to speak, has something to say on that as well.
Yeah,
Councilor Grace.
thank you. I worked in banking for a number of years in the Boston area. And I can't tell you how many times I recognized when elderly people came into the bank and somebody was trying to scam them out of money. And a machine like this, there's no human to recognize what's going on and to try to talk to these people and explain or put the brakes on it until such time as somebody else can come in and look at it. So, you're not preventing people from investing in Bitcoin, you're preventing scammers and crooks from taking money from people who don't understand Bitcoin. So 100% for it.
Thank you, Councilor Grace. Councilor Majota.
You know, absolutely. There's people like, well, why do you want to run for city council? And I think this is one of the reasons, a reason why is to help and make a difference. And I think by protecting the seniors or anybody else, this is what we can do to prevent people losing any sort of money and protect them. So thank you for all your hard work.
Excellent. This was a big collaboration between the mayor, Paul Tucker, myself, Tony Gross, and Scott Memhard, and Suzanne Egan to make this happen. This is something that's probably going to be the lead piece that they use across the state of Massachusetts on these grounds. And what we found out with MGLs and different laws, thanks to Suzanne, it's not easy as a counselor to come up with something new that you don't have, that has so many different parts that involve the state and the city. It's not just the GCO, we're gonna make this happen. It's very confusing. But this, by far, in the last 6 years, is probably the most heartwarming piece of legislation that I think that we have had in front of us at ONA that is hoping to make a difference, and some people are gonna be upset. And I don't mind, because people get lied to, and unfortunately, our elderly are the ones that grew up in a time where when they get something in the mail, they pay it. They don't argue it. They basically, this has to be true, and they're very trusting. And that breaks my heart that there's so many people willing to scam people that have given their life to pay for where we are today, whether dedication through wars or letting their spouse go to war, or just paying their taxes, going to town meetings, bringing up fair drinking water, making things right to where the country is, and to get taken advantage of. And this is why it's very important to me. And Suzanne, Tony, thank you both for working on this. And Catherine, is there something you'd like to add to that from the mayor's office? Because Greg was very adamant about
Yes,
this.
Greg was, after he had consulted with DA Tucker, and again, and this is not the only scam that's happened, but another outlet for scams to happen. He was very eager to get it through, so appreciates the council taking up and acting quickly on it.
And I know, for me, this is somber, very somber. People have already lost money in town. And there's been money that's been collected by the police department when they've been informed of it, but they can't give it back. There's still no legal means to give it back because someone gave it to someone. So it's it's really difficult. It's easy to work with a bank. But when it's a machine, it's done. And some of the timeframes that Lieutenant Gossman said is that once a transaction made, it can hit as many as 60 wallets within a second. And just be transferred and gone. So maybe I'm a little bit off being very saddened by this, but I'm very happy that we're taking a step to make this go.
I think that we're doing this for the greater good, and as a society, that's what we should be doing.
And so unfortunately, for the greater good of Frank and I picked who was gonna speak first and where. And since you're the best reader, you're gonna read the whole thing. Now, I'm gonna have to
I
read
can
it
be a
again next
faster
week.
reader.
So,
If you want speed, I can try to do that.
so Council Grace.
Committee recommendation, move to recommend that the city council amend the Gloucester Code of Ordinances, chapter 14, offenses and miscellaneous provisions by adding a new Article 3, virtual currency kiosk prohibition as follows. Chapter 14, Article 3, virtual currency kiosk prohibition, section 14-18, purpose and intent. The City of Gloucester Police Department and the Essex County District Attorney's Office reports that unregulated virtual currency kiosks are able to convert fiat currency into virtual currency instantaneously and irreversibly, which exposes the most vulnerable of our citizens to unnecessary risk. The purpose of this article is to prohibit the installation, operation, and use of virtual currency kiosks within the city in an effort to protect our community. Section 14-19, effective date. Due to the extreme risk of instantaneous and irreversible financial damage to the city's most vulnerable members, it is necessary that this measure be effective immediately upon enactment. Section 14-20, definitions. A, virtual currency. A digital representation of value used as medium of exchange, a unit of account or a store of value, but does not have legal tender status as recognized by the United States government, including but not limited to Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Litecoin, Ripple, Zcash, Ethereum, and similar blockchain-based tokens. B, virtual currency kiosk means that any self-service kiosk, machine, or device installed in a publicly accessible location that enables users to buy, sell, exchange, or transfer virtual currency through the machine using cash, debit card, credit card, or other means of payment or other virtual currency. Section 14-21, virtual currency kiosk prohibited. It shall be unlawful for any person or entity to host, allow, operate, permit, locate, or place a virtual currency kiosk within the city of Gloucester. All virtual currency kiosks existing within the city as of the effective date of this ordinance must be removed within 30 days after the effective date. Section 14-22, administration and enforcement. A, this section shall be enforced by the police department. B, this section may be enforced through any lawful means, including but not limited to non-criminal disposition pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 21D. In the event of such disposition and subject to the safeguards of Section 21D, any business or individual that violates any provision of this article shall be subject to a fine of $300 for each violation. C, each day that the violator continues to operate a virtual currency kiosk shall constitute a separate violation of this article. D, fines are cumulative and each day or portion thereof shall constitute a separate offense. If more than one violation occurs, each condition violated shall constitute a separate offense. Section 14-23, severability. In any provision of this ordinance is held, if any provision of this ordinance is held to be invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity shall not affect the remaining provisions, which shall remain in full force and effect. And I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And again, the emergency part of this is already in effect. So the people that are violating already been notified that they have machines that have to go in 30 days. This just makes the language where it's a full-time ordinance. It was that important that we did do the emergency event on that. And it is enforced by the police department, not our building commission, which we happy with. But it's a real thing, and I do want to thank the administration.
Thank you.
And Tony Gross and Scott Menard, in the council, because these are the things that really matter. I mean, well, a lot of things matter.
Any avenue you can shut down.
Yeah, and it's just a tough situation, but this one here is, when you're seeing the stories, hearing from people, I've met with two people that would be for $5,000 each. $5,000 is a lot of money for a lot of people. Yeah, especially with the fact that we have, increases, we have a debt shift coming up for our sewer treatment plant, we have a lot of expenses that are gonna hurt the elderly, and there's nothing we can do about that. But what we can do is stop them from getting ripped off, and I think that this is a good step in that way. And I wanna thank the administration again. We do have one other matter, and no one has to stay, but if they wanna hear about a zoning ordinance for parking in the street, you might want to. Yes,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Catherine, thank you,
Yeah.
Suzanne,
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you guys being here tonight,
Thank you.
and have a great night.
Is Counselor Worthy here to speak on the matter?
Counselor Worthley is not here, and I would ask the board if they would like to continue this, or if they just want to read it into record and put it through to council.
Is this just because of the language or is there something that's changed?
It's the language, the way we read it, there was,
We had-
so what happened was, is we read it. I had a template that I got off the email and it changed. Cause I like to have the template, I make notes.
So we effectively already voted on this.
Oh, then I have no
I think
problem.
It was
Yeah,
unanimous.
so
yeah.
we can reread it.
Yeah.
And go from there. So this is number 4, CC 2025-35, Worthley amend GCO, chapter 22, traffic and motor vehicles, section 22, 270, parking prohibited at all times, and section 22, 291, toy zones regarding Washington Street and Orchard Street, continued from August 18, 2025. This matter is being revoted as language missed during the initial vote on August 18, 2025. Council Majota, you have the floor.
Committee recommendation, move to recommend City Council amend Gloucester Code of Ordinance, chapter 22, traffic and motor vehicles, section 22 through 270. Parking prohibited at all times by deleting Washington Street, western side from it, intersection of Orchard Street for a distance of 165 feet in a southerly direction, and adding Washington Street, westerly side from its intersection with Orchard Street for a distance of 130 feet in a southerly direction. Amend chapter 22, traffic and motor vehicles, section 22 through 291, tollway zones by adding Washington Street, western side from its intersection with Orchard Street for a distance of 130 feet in a southerly direction. Amend chapter 22, traffic and motor vehicles, section 22 through 280, 15-minute parking by adding Washington Street, western side by side beginning at point 130 feet from its intersection with Orchard Street in a southerly direction, 2 spaces, and I so move.
Second.
All right, so this basically, do we have any questions?
I don't, we talked about this last one,
Right.
and it's right in front of Sebastian's, we're adding 2 spaces. Right there for 15-minute parking. 15-minute parking is throughout the entire day, so no overnight parking at that area. If there is, the car will be towed. So pretty much at nighttime, it's gonna be the same way, so I'm fine with that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. And I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.